Welcome back to Ghouly Pleasures. This week's forecast is foggy with a chance of trauma. Kendra?
And I'm Darcy. And today we are reviewing the final episode of Welcome to Derry, episode 8, called Winter Fire.
Yes. I feel like the fire was last week, but
Yeah.
a different sort of fire this week.
Compared to some of the other episode titles we've had this season, this felt a little underwhelming.
A little weak. It's a little weak narratively.
Right? For your finale, but whatever.
It's not the swirling apparatus of our planet's function. Nailed it.
Girl, you could write that down in front of me and I still would not be able to say it right now. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just going to come right out and say, fuck this show. Fuck this episode. Fuck this show. Fuck it.
Truly. Truly.
Like, last week was already traumatizing. I didn't think it could get more emotionally traumatizing, but I cried so much throughout this episode.
You know when I cried. We haven't talked about it yet, but there was a part I cried.
Every time I thought I was done, there was a new scene. I think there were at least 3 separate scenes that prompted me to start crying again. So,
yeah. Emotional damage, indeed.
Absolutely. But let's get into it. This episode starts basically in full apocalypse mode.
Yep.
Smoke is essentially choking the town. Plants are dying. People are fleeing. At one point, there's a freaking baby carriage, like, at high speed rocketing through the street. And you hear a baby scream as it goes by.
That part was crazy. And the lady just walks by like, what's going on out there? It's crazy.
I rewound it because I was like, wait, was there really? Because afterwards they show a clip of a woman holding a baby. So I was like, maybe there wasn't a baby in it. But I rewound it and watched the clip. And yeah, no, there was a baby because it was like, like it went with the fucking strollers. It went by, got loud and then quiet.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, it was great. It's like you watch it and you're like, objectively, this is traumatizing and so fucked up, but it was hilarious.
It's a bit camp.
Yeah, which is, the show is so good at doing like messed up things that, you know, objectively, if you were there, it would be traumatizing and scary, but through the lens that the show presents it, you just can't help but laugh because it's so unhinged. So everything's going crazy. And then we see a woman inside a shop and she presses her hand against the glass as she watches the chaos outside. And then we see one of those Pennywise grins take over her face and a red balloon floating in the reflection as well.
The classic red balloon is back. You know who that is watching all the chaos erupt.
Indeed. Immediate tone setter for the episode. Derry is basically lost at this point, and Pennywise is everywhere.
He's taken over the town. He's everywhere.
There's a new sheriff in town, as one might say. Or in this case, a new principal in town. That was a good transition, right?
That was a good transition.
Thank you. Thank you. Because meanwhile, Pennywise infiltrates the school.
We get a little announcement. Classes are dismissed for the day. Everyone's free to go home. The upperclassmen are dismissed, actually. But the rest of y'all, we got an assembly in the auditorium.
And all the kids start walking into the assembly room, including the patty cakes. And they're like, where are the teachers? What's going on? What the hell is this? And then something very disturbing happens. We see the principal appear on stage, and he's quite clearly already dead.
Yes.
But Pennywise is using him as a puppet.
Just a marionette in a dead corpse.
Pennywise uses the principal to introduce himself, and then he promptly appears, still blood-soaked, like from the feet to like his nose, I think.
Yep, the nose down, covered in blood.
Yep. And he appears after using his new marionette toy to introduce himself, and then he stuffs his fingers into the principal's eye sockets and rips his head off.
What a show.
What a show. Yeah.
What a star.
He's an icon. I mean, damn. Who needs an opener when you have that?
Literally.
Okay.
I would hate to follow that act. Because what would I do? What would I
Literally. The kids are freaking out. They start running and trying to get out.
Nope, they can't. All the doors are locked. They're trapped.
And meanwhile, blood soaked Pennywise over here is singing and performing for the kids,
Yes, he's putting on a show.
having a grand old time.
He powered through to give us entertainment. What a star.
He said, "My audience don't need to be sad. It's okay. I'll pull him in the end." And he does, because when he's done with his little show, we get a mass deadlights activation. And basically every child, all at once, is taken by Pennywise. The backstage opens, and we see his little circus cart out back.
And he leads them away like some sort of Pied Piper of evil.
Literally, yes. That's exactly what it's like. That's a great comparison. Do you remember, going so far back, that Sailor Moon movie with the guy who plays the flute?
Oh, yeah.
And he woke up all the children from sleep and they all marched while singing that cute little song. That's exactly like this.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
I'm sure not many people will get that very
No
specific
one will
reference.
understand Sailor Moon reference. If you understand that Sailor Moon reference, put it in the comments below.
Please. I know I'm not the only one who knows that shit. But yeah, so things are unraveling really quick. And our main girls, Ronnie, Marge, and Lily, are over at their little clubhouse, and they see the smoke overtaking Derry as they're cleaning things out. And naturally, they're like, wow, we gotta find out what the fuck is going on. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. Teenage girls with trauma, they get a lot done. More than I would.
I hope we never have to find out if we would be as productive after experiencing that kind of drama. But so they go outside and they're looking around, and that's when they see that the exterior of their hideout is completely plastered with missing children's flyers of all the kids from the school. And they take this to mean that Pennywise has taken all the students from school. And I mean, they're correct.
Yeah, it was a correct assumption.
And they decide, well, we need to investigate the situation further. And I just really want to take a second to say how impressed I was, because they all three ride off on one bike together.
Yes. I was like, when they were riding away, I'm like, how are all three of them on that bike? Where are they sat?
At some point earlier in the scene, I saw the one bike and I was like, okay, well, how are we going to do this? And then when they all biked away on it together, I was like, oh, that's possible?
I mean, I've seen people on a bike before, but I've had like those bars on the back wheel. So the third person standing on the wheel, one
Yep.
person seat, the other person was pedaling. But I don't think they had the bars on the back wheel.
I don't think so. It looked like a struggle. But as they're making their way to the school, we see more of Pennywise's little procession with the kids, because it's so freaking creepy. It's exactly like you described it. It's like the Pied Piper. He's leading them all. Now he has them in like a single file line too, like two lines, single file, floating behind him as the circus cart makes its way forward, and he's playing like a trumpet. And it's so creepy, man.
No, it's so creepy how it's shot and how everything's all still so foggy, and you just see the silhouettes of the children floating through the air. It's
Yeah. They're all just dead lighted, so they're just complete no expressions, just like it's like honestly, it was low key like watching corpses just like hanging in the air as they're floating for it. It's really freaking creepy. Couldn't be us. Fuck this shit. We would be gone.
would be gone. The first red balloon, I'm out of Derry.
Honestly, at this point, it don't even have to be Derry. First red balloon, I'm gonna be side-eyeing some shit at this point. The girls reach the school and pile more trauma on their already traumatized minds, because they see everyone's missing, and then they find the principal's decapitated body.
Yeah. They handle it better than I would. They're just like, oh my gosh.
Right. I
The
mean,
one would have been on the floor, screaming, throwing up, crying.
fair. Yeah, they get their shit together really fast. Especially they then find a missing flyer for Will, and now they realize that Will has been taken by Pennywise as well. If you remember in last week's episode, poor Will.
Our son Will was dead-lighted,
Yeah.
taken by Pennywise. That
Yep.
bastard.
He just be coming after all of our sons. Leave them alone.
Leave my son alone. Leave Brittany alone.
Leave Brittany alone.
You bastards.
Oh, I wonder how many
No one's
people
gonna
will
get
be
that.
old enough. So the girls decide that they have to find Will, obviously. They've already lost Rich, so they can't lose Will too.
Mhm.
And they see a trail of blood.
Obviously, we gotta follow that.
Obviously, that will lead us to Will and all the other kids. We have a dagger. This dagger will protect us all. No one's doing critical thinking.
No.
Marge over here, like, fueled by rage after what happened to Rich. Like, let's go.
An icon. God, the way
Truly.
Marge's character turned around in the show, the biggest switch. It's like she became one of the best characters.
I was like, damn, I can't believe we were almost ready to give up on you, girl, because I, honestly, she might be one of my favorites at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do. I love her a lot. So once the girls realize that they need to chase this blood trail, they're like, well, how do we do this?
They were struggling on the bike, so like the bike's out. We got a long way to go.
Reality finally caught up to them. Truly, I don't know how they made it from their hideout to the school in the first place, but it's over. You can only do that shit for so long. So they happen upon the milkman, who's been brutally murdered by Pennywise.
Yep.
And naturally, they realize, oh my God, his delivery truck.
It's right there.
Ready for the taking. I really liked this shot, how it was so dreadful but comedic, because Marge and Lily are like POVing their perspective from dead milkman on the ground to the truck, the dead milkman to the truck, and then they quickly make up their decision. They're like, we're taking the truck. And then poor Ronnie is like, what the fuck are you doing? The only voice of reason here. But she goes along with them in 2 seconds too, so I mean, she got no choice.
She doesn't have a choice. She wants to save Will too, and they're like, we gotta get there.
Yep, gotta do what we gotta do. And I really liked when they got in the milk delivery truck or whatever it is, and Marge takes the wheel, and they're like, "You don't even have a driver's license. What are you gonna do?" She really reminded me of Rich because she was like, "I have an uncle who has a car," and they're like, have you driven it before? She's like, I've seen him drive it. It like high key was like when Rich would be like, well, when my Tio did this, blah, 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 blah. So naturally, I can totally lead this ceremony and summon spirits. Like,
Oh, good. It's so, God, I love Marge.
she's such a badass. So these three crazy girls set off on a mission to find
The
Will
milk truck, following the trail of blood.
with a dagger armed to save them. Good choices. Meanwhile, back with the adults, Hanlon is trying to call Will and not getting an answer. He hangs up the phone and is starting to leave, but the phone rings back. What do we hear on the other end?
Fucking Pennywise's bitch ass. Tormenting him. He lets him hear Will and everything.
And he asks a good question. He's like, what scared the man without fear? And obviously, it's his poor child.
Anything happening to his son is his fear. Hanlon crashes out.
Oh, yeah. Pennywise is like, your son's going to make a good meal. And poor Hanlon over here snaps and smashes the phone. Understandably.
He's like,
The fear is real.
I'll rip your throat out.
It's interesting that Pennywise brought up the fear aspect because, you know, it wasn't as explored as much this season as I expected it to be.
True.
Even by the end of this episode. But we'll get into it. So now Hanlon is terrified for his son, and he goes to the only person that he thinks can help. which is our good friend Dick.
And Dick, our good friend Dick, he's still going through it.
Yeah, it's worse than ever because the last episode, Pennywise basically was like, "Oh, here you go. See all the bad shit now." And, he started talking to the dead things. So now they're talking back. He's seeing dead people everywhere, just completely unraveling, and literally is about to kill
Yes,
himself.
the spirits are telling him to join us. They're urging him to end himself.
And really, the only thing that stops him is Hanlon barging into his barracks and stopping it
Mhm.
accidentally. And then Dick basically lets Hanlon know how he feels and that he blames Hanlon for what's happened to him. Also, understandably,
Fair enough. And he takes
Hanlon's been a
accountability for it.
yeah. Hanlon is basically like, I fucked up. If you help me find my son, I'll do anything. Even help you kill yourself. So I was like, okay. But it worked.
It did.
I think the only thing that really stopped Dick was when he realized when Hanlon told him that, Pennywise has will.
Yeah, that's what it was really.
Yeah. Because Dick clearly don't give a fuck about any of these dumbass adults who be getting themselves into stupid situations. But when it's kids, he has consistently shown a soft spot, which obviously carries through to his future character in The Shining. So I
Yeah.
think that's actually really cool consistency, which I literally just realized.
Yeah.
But so Hanlon gets through to Dick, and Dick puts the gun down, and he's gonna do what he can to try to help find Will. So they make their escape from the military base, and the general is informed that Dick has gone AWOL, and he's really not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Until he finds out that Hanlon is with Dick.
Mhm.
And then I feel like you see a little shift in his demeanor at that point. Seems a little concerned that Hanlon might be able to do something to stop things that Dick wouldn't be able to do. Because, he's the man without fear. So in
Mhm.
his mind, this is the only person who really stands a chance against Pennywise.
Yep.
Which is another reason why, by the end of the episode, I was like, we didn't really go anywhere.
No, I thought it would have a bigger narrative thing in the show, but
Yeah,
they've only touched on it, but it's never utilized in any way, like any sort of like they put him on missions probably because he didn't have fear, but I thought it'd have a bigger role in the series.
right. All they do is keep talking about it. We've never actually seen it in action. And we've actually seen the opposite more so. Like, I could name at least off the top of my head quickly 3 different moments where we see Hanlon clearly express fear in
Mm.
some way. I don't care what it's related to. Are they all related to his son Will? Yeah, but
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. The point is, we're never given a chance to see Hanlon ourselves face a situation without fear or not process it the way that a normal person would. So there's no like reference point for us. We're not seeing this
Yeah, I'm wondering
exhibit.
what point of bringing it up. Maybe it was just a way to put him into the story to get him
Yeah.
into the secret aspect of what the military's up to.
Mm,
They didn't utilize I thought it was gonna be a bigger utilization, like, they would use it somehow.
me too.
They didn't, in a specific
No.
way, and
Yeah, I think it was a fumble on the writer's part, in my opinion. It could have been interesting. I would have liked to see how they explored it, but oh well. It is what it is.
it's what it is.
So as the general learns that Dick and Hanlon have escaped, we see that they've reconvened at Rose's house. And this is where Charlotte learns from Hanlon and Dick that Will is missing. And she explodes at Hanlon.
Understandably.
I feel like so many moments of this episode are like a character just losing their shit. And I'm like, understandably.
Fair. This crash out is valid.
Exactly. So obviously, right now, everyone's freaking out because we need to save Will. Yeah, they're pitching ideas, but they're not looking like great ideas.
Oh, 'cause,
So,
like, even if you go find Will, you can't beat this thing. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. But Rose has an idea, so she makes a last-ditch plan, and she suggests using Dick to find the dagger and use that dagger to reestablish the cage to keep Pennywise in.
Mhm.
The only catch is they need to do it before Pennywise reaches the deadwood tree, because once he passes the deadwood tree, it's going to be too far away from the other shards for them to all link up and create the cage that they need them to create. So they're under a time crunch at this point. And then there's the matter of, how is Dick supposed to find the shard? He doesn't know how. So Rose basically has to open Dick's mind to the realm of the dagger. And in doing so, she's also closing his mind off from all the terrorizing dead things that he's been seeing. So Dick is on board. He'll give it a shot.
It's like anything to stop hearing these voices.
Literally, understandably. And I thought it was really funny as, she gives him this drink. It's some plant to open his mind to the dagger's realm. She lets him drink it. And then someone asks, oh, how quickly will it happen? And she's like, oh, pretty quick. And then she turns back to Dick and she's like, anyways, so whatever you do, don't. And then it's all like warbled out. Dick can't hear it at all.
Like, why would you wait till the moment he drinks to give? But make sure you absolutely do not do this. Do you understand? Maybe you tell, or you give him the little tea you made. Maybe do that.
It should have been the first thing you said.
Should have been the first thing you said, Rosa.
And then we never really find out what it was.
No.
Either.
We don't know what he did. What he wasn't supposed to do. But I guess he didn't do it.
Right.
Everything was fine.
I hope when he came back out of the trance, he asked her, what the fuck were you about to say? Because I didn't quite catch that, girl. Next time, say it sooner. But thankfully, we don't got to worry about that. The scene transitions in another really cool way from Dick's eye. It like goes through Dick's eye and comes out the other side, and we see Marge driving the milk truck. This show's really good at doing cool transitions, honestly.
Because there's another similar one later in the episode.
Yes. But so Dick sees Marge driving the milk truck and the girls crashing into a tree because of a pothole. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. It's really foggy out there. They're not really on a road.
Yeah. I mean, they're driving through the woods. Damn. In a freaking milk truck. Understandable. And when they crash, the dagger drops. And they're freaking out looking for it, obviously, because this is the only thing they have to protect themselves from Pennywise. And Marge happens to see it first, and she goes to pick it up, and Lily snaps at her and tells her, don't worry, I'll do it. I got this, girl.
She's like, don't touch it. I got it.
And this is like the culmination of this dagger. Something's wrong with it. And you can see that Ronnie and Marge are, they're officially putting the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
And as this is going on, we get that cool transition scene that you were just talking about again, where Dick is screaming because this is all a vision he's seeing in his mind. And we see, like, I don't even know how to describe it, like his mouth inside his mouth inside his mouth,
Mm-hmm.
like coming outward until you see him screaming. It's really fucking nifty, man.
It was. You did some great work. CGI wise.
They care about those cool little shots. And I appreciate it. Adds to like the unhinged aspect of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But so this was a psychic vision from Dick, and he realizes that the dagger is with the girls, and he lets the adults know, and now the adults all pile into a van together to go after the kids. And this is where we finally explicitly learn, as if we hadn't already been able to tell, but Rose tells us that the dagger, is a fragment of the comet that Pennywise came to Earth on, and it always wants to return to its original source. So the further away that it's moving from the comet, the more that it fractures the mind of whoever is holding it.
And we can clearly see that's what's happening with Lily.
Yeah. I mean, she's been very erratic until now, and now she's just straight up paranoid. And she's justified in that paranoia because Ronnie and Marge are coming up with a plan, and they confront Lily.
They're walking away, and, like, Ronnie and Marge are walking ahead of her, and Lily is just, like, she sees them peeking back at her, but you don't hear what, Marge and Ronnie are talking about yet. They're just like, "It's weird." Like, they're seeing that this shard is corrupting her in some way, and they're concerned, and Lily freaks out thinking they're turning against her.
Right. She's not understanding that they're just concerned about her well-being. She thinks, "These people think I'm crazy. They're turning against me." Ronnie and Marge unspokenly decide that this is the moment. They can't let this go on any further. And there's a confrontation between them and Lily, and it becomes physical. And they're basically just trying to hold Lily while one of them tries to take the shard away from her. And there's a sweet moment between Ronnie and Lily here where Ronnie tells Lily, this isn't you. You're a lifeboat, she
Mm.
says.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and this is finally what gets through to Lily, and she kind of calms down, and Marge is finally able to take the shard away from her. Thank God.
Goodness.
And you can, see the relief in Lily instantly.
Instantly, as soon as it's out of her hands,
It's like, "Damn, girl, have you been sleeping?" Like, she has to have been sleeping with that shit,
she's been
bathing with that
having
shit.
it the whole time since she had it.
Mhm.
Understandable, because she saw it was the only thing that could deter Pennywise, and she's scared. But, like,
Like,
was she probably taking it to the bathroom with her and everything?
I mean, like we said before, girl, I mean, I would've crushed that shit up and been, injecting it into my blood, so I would never been able to leave Derry ever. It would have been a part of me. So now that they realize the effects of the dagger, they decide that they're going to take turns holding it so no one of them will feel the full effects of it. And hopefully by doing that, they'll be able to get where they need to go with it.
So smart.
Very smart. That's why it had to come down to the girls in the end,
You
Boys
know
just
exactly.
boys just can't keep up, man.
Like, yeah, man. The fate of this town rests on 3 traumatized teenage girls, and they're doing a good job, honestly.
Honestly, they're doing an amazing job. What's that Kris Jenner meme? You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie.
But genuinely, they are. And thank God they figured out the shard situation when they did, because right afterwards, the shard starts glowing. And this is when they spot Pennywise's circus cart in the distance with all the kids floating behind it. And they make their way forwards.
Mhm. They go towards it because they gotta find Will. They think Will's in that floating children line.
I don't know if I love anyone enough to go towards that shit. They're some brave kids, man.
They form such a trauma bond together, you kinda have to stick together after everything they've been through.
You're right. It is the trauma bond that does it. You're right. If they were just like normal friends, they'd have been like, bye. So the girls run towards the carriage and pretty quickly find Will floating in the sky
Yep, at the head of
and
the
start.
conga
Yeah,
line.
well, he was the first victim
Mhm.
added to the crew over here, okay? Pennywise said, "I got a number one, my little Will. I gotta get him." He really did single our Will out. What the fuck? Now that I think about it, bro. He had no interest in the girls. Why
Yeah,
didn't he go after the girls?
I know. I wonder why.
Which begs further questions in a minute when we talk about motivations. Interesting, interesting. Anyways, the girls see Will and they're jumping up to try and get him because that'll do all the good in the world. Jumping at someone floating 6 feet above you.
Yeah. They're trying their best.
I mean, they should have gotten on each other's backs or something. Like, come on, girls, get it together. But the carriage stops and
Ugh,
Pennywise emerges.
Pennywise.
Ronnie immediately whips out their dagger and brandishes it at him. And Pennywise recoils And he does this creepy little thing where he, like, runs backwards.
He, like, scurries back laughing into the fog. Ugh. Obsessed. I love him.
And then he starts circling them and mocking them. So, he's not really scared of the shard.
No.
He's just fucking with them. And as the poor girls are, standing back to back in this circle with fog, they can't see shit. An elongated arm reaches out and grabs Marge's leg and drags her away.
Drags her into the fog, screaming. Oh, Marge. I was so worried.
I was so scared. I was like, you can't do this. You can't take Rich.
You can't
And
take
Marge.
Rich and now, Marge. Don't do this to me.
But thankfully, Pennywise, he likes to chat. And this is when he starts taunting her about her future children. At first, I thought he was taunting her about Rich's death. But no, it turns out,
Big reveal.
big reveal, Marge is the mother of Richie from the main It franchise.
Mm-hmm. Pennywise said this beef is generational.
And this is when we learn that for Pennywise, time isn't linear because he's already aware that in the future, Marge has a son named Richie who goes on to, quote unquote, kill him along with his friends. But even Pennywise acknowledges that is it death or is it birth? Because time is kind of irrelevant to him in the way he experiences it. It's like one and the same thing.
All time at the same time.
Exactly. So that's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
And now, this brings back to the question, like, basically, Pennywise's motivation here is to kill Marge before she can have her son, Richie, who kills him. So why'd he take Will?
Just for fun.
Why not just take Marge?
I mean, he has to fuel up.
True.
Like, he do his little children murder spree. Like, it's like, he's not gonna, like, not do that.
But he was like,
he can main mission. Like, there are children here to be eaten.
But he took a whole fucking school. He said, no, I just need that Will on the side.
But Will is also the ancestor, the father of, what's his name in It? Why can't I think of his name?
You're right. I also can't think of his name, but I know you're correct. So that probably, we didn't get the direct confrontation between Will and Pennywise, but I'm sure there was a motivation there as well. Generational.
Yeah. Going back,
like, dear God,
all the
there's no
relatives
escape
of the Losers Club.
Yep, to prevent his own death. But thankfully, because Pennywise is such a chatter, he's losing time. And right before he's about to eat Marge, he freezes. Like
just as he's about to
mid-motion.
deadlight Marge, he freezes. And we're like, what just happened? Anyway, who cares? Run away, Marge. I don't care. Now's your time.
Right? But then everything else starts, like, changing too. All the kids who are floating in the air, deadlight, suddenly drop down. And Will drops down. And he's okay now. He's out of the trance. So the kids are reunited.
And the adults show up.
Which is a relief. I'm glad the adults can finally show up in some capacity for the kids. Because when has a kid in Derry ever had a fucking adult show up?
Literally.
Honestly. It
was good teamwork this time.
It was. Ronnie hands the dagger over to Hanlon because, they have that plan. They're going to complete the cage by putting it back in the ground. So he takes the dagger and him and Taniel start running towards the deadwood tree. They're going to finish this. But unfortunately,
the fuck-ass military shows up.
Ugh, of course. Yep. And they just straight up open fire.
No regard towards anything. They just start shooting at them. They incapacitate Evelyn and Taniel. Poor Taniel. He got
Taniel doesn't make it.
Me too.
I was so mad.
I was so mad when they showed up. I literally forgot about the military thing for this whole episode because I was so stressed. And then when they showed up, oh my God, not now.
Right.
There's too much going on.
Right. Like, poor Daniel survived the
Literally.
fucking sewers with Pennywise. No shard to protect himself. And that was the military's fault he was even in that situation, too. But so this basically causes chaos among everyone. Will sees his dad get shot and he freaks out and he jumps out of the van to run to his father. And naturally, all the kids follow him. And then freaking Hank Grogan jumps out following his daughter Ronnie. And it's just one big disaster. I was
Yep.
terrified the whole
The
time.
kids
I was like,
because they
forget
start shooting at the
Pennywise.
car, they start shooting at Hank. I'm like, oh gosh, just mayhem.
Yeah, they don't even care. The military doesn't even care that a kid could get shot. Nope, they don't give a shit. Somehow, amongst all the craziness, Will makes it over to his dad. And there's a very lovely moment. And fucked up. Fucked up because Hanlon has no choice but to hand the dagger over to Will because he can't make it to the Deadwood tree. So he has to entrust the mission to his son, Will.
Mhm.
So fucked up. Here, you go run. You go deal with this. But they have a really nice moment together because Will is so scared and he says he can't do it because I'm not you, Dad.
So
It's so
sweet.
sweet.
He's like, you don't have to be me. Oh, such a sweet father son moment that they finally had.
Right. It took a life or death situation for Hanlon to finally just be like, son, you're
Give
perfect
his
the way you
poor
are.
son some
You just have to be
encouragement.
yourself. That's going to give Will a complex, honestly. But Will he's moved. And he takes that dagger. And him and the girls start running
Yep, they
to the
start
Deadwood
running off
tree.
into the fog to hide.
Meanwhile, the military finds Pennywise,
Mhm.
who's
This
frozen.
buck ass general through his little
And this is when,
binoculars and then just like goes over there.
yeah, he's like, oh, let me just approach this literal eldritch abomination. And this is where we see inside Pennywise's mind that he's basically experiencing the identity of Bob Gray, the human Pennywise, the human who acted as the clown Pennywise. And it's like he's in his POV if he had not gone missing that night or if he'd been
Mhm.
found that night when he had gone missing. And fucking hilarious because even though the people in this scene, the other carnies perceive Pennywise as this human, Pennywise knows who he is and he's really
And he's
confused by the
actually so
situation.
offended that they dare call him Bill. He's like, I am an eater of worlds.
He's
How dare you?
like, I am a god. And he like starts trying to choke out one of the carny workers, and this icon fucking slaps him.
Lord, oof.
Loved it. Oh my gosh.
Pennywise notices, like, after he hits him, that his arm is black. So he realizes it's Dick.
Dang, I missed that detail. Oh shit. So, surprise, surprise. Dick has been getting in Pennywise's mind to distract him from the kids, to buy
Mhm.
themselves time to get there and get the shard and get it in place. But now the jig is up.
Yep.
Pennywise basically ejects Dick from his mind. And that's when he
Yeah.
unfreezes.
And the general's just standing there like, hey, buddy, you're free to go. Don't worry about anything.
Yep. And there's this a weird moment, and like Pennywise is like, okay, okay. I won't. He's like, I can see in it, an ally when it's shoved in my face. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm good with this. But then, as he walks past the general, he catches his scent, and he turns around, and he's like, "Oh, I remember you."
So
This was so good because as soon as he starts turning around, the general is like, "What are you doing,
she's like,
bro?"
I'm on your side, my guy. I did this for you. Can't you see? This is all for you.
I did this. Pick me. Choose me. Love me.
Oh my God, he's such a pick me.
He is. because he really thinks that Pennywise is just gonna let him go. But Pennywise remembers this little kid from when he
Mm.
tortured him in his youth.
He's like the one that way. Absolutely
And
not.
so exactly, you thought you escaped me? I think not. So Pennywise morphs into like this skeletal old man type thing that had previously terrorized the general when he was young and living in Derry. And he bites his head
Loves
off.
going for the face.
Loves going for the face. I was upset that it wasn't more drawn
I
out and
know.
he
I
didn't
was
suffer
scared that
more.
they weren't going to kill him, so I'm glad he at least died.
Yeah, I was thankful he died, but
It could.
it could have been worse, is all I'm saying. You know? I would have liked it for it to have been worse, but at least he died, and at least he knew he fucked up before he died, so I'll take what we can get. But Pennywise, now that he's taken care of business and now that he's not frozen anymore, starts heading
Starts
for the
skipping
kids.
towards them. He's literally skipping
Literally.
towards
Oh my
them
god.
with glee.
It's so creepy how he makes, like, something that a normal it should just be fine, but he does it in the
He's so
creepiest way.
extra.
I love it so much.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He's doing it for
He
fun.
is. As he's skipping, he passes the adults who are basically, being restrained by the soldiers. The adults are basically begging the soldiers to stop Pennywise, but no,
No, they don't give a
that's not
damn.
happening. No. So the adults have no choice but to collectively attack the soldiers and take control
That they
back.
do.
Hanlon picks up a gun and he shoots Pennywise's
Yeah.
head off. It's so good. And then out of Pennywise's decapitated head, it's like one of those like surprise what's it called? Like a box spring?
Like a jack in the box.
Like a jack in the box pops out. Like he's like, yeah, you shot me in the head, but it's still a
He's
joke.
so extra.
He is. I love it. But Hanlon runs out of ammo and then he gets
Mhm.
deadlighted.
It's not looking good.
Charlotte rushes to help. Everyone's just trying to do what they can. I think this is the first time that I cried during the episode because all of a sudden, that native spirit who was helping Dick before
Mhm.
appears and he's holding someone's
Uh-huh.
hand.
This is where I also cried.
Yep, because he's holding the hand of our son
Rich.
Rich.
The spirit of Rich is back. Oh,
And he's here with a purpose. He starts running to his friends who are in the midst of trying to bury this shard into the ground to complete the cage. But the shard wants to go home, so it's putting up resistance. It's trying to convince Will to bring it back. Everyone's just desperately trying to get it in the ground. So Little Rich starts running to his friends. Meanwhile, flipping off
literally,
Pennywise.
like, iconic. What an icon. That was the best scene.
Oh,
He wasn't
I
just
loved it so
running towards to save his friends. He also spared time to give Pennywise the finger. That's such a satisfying ending for him too. So I was thinking about this before.
Mhm.
It's like he died, but Pennywise wasn't the one who actually got him.
Right. I was thinking about that too, because, like, yeah, he died and it was awful, but in a fucked up way for like a 12-year-old. He died on his own terms. His soul isn't trapped inside the nightmare that
Mm.
Pennywise creates. So there's some consolation there, you know? But so he runs past Pennywise, who's on the ground because, his head is still trying to regrow and he's just crawling to the kids to try to stop them. And he's growing like bat like wings as
Into
he
this
goes.
horrific flying beast.
Yeah, yeah. Rose she picks up the gun and she shoots to try to buy them some more time, but it doesn't do too much. No. Rich makes it to his friends and, he joins hands with them and they're all pushing the shard into the ground. And the frickin' bat like Pennywise is literally
Oh, I
closing
was
in
so
behind
stressed.
them like a hawk closing in on
I
its
was
prey.
so like even the adults behind
So
them, they're like,
stressful.
no.
It was so scary. But with Rich's help, the pillar finally goes into the ground. The cage reconnects, and there's a massive burst of light, and Pennywise is
Mhm.
thrown backwards. And then he like sits up in the ground and he combusts. R.I.P. Pennywise. Or maybe not, because now we know time for him is not linear. When you think about it, it's just like, there's no escape. And now that we know that time isn't linear for him, the spoilers we saw about subsequent seasons
Yeah.
makes a
He
lot of
could just keep
sense.
trying to go back to kill more relatives.
Exactly. This gen didn't work, but maybe the one before I can fuck with.
The beef is truly generational.
So after Pennywise has combusted, we start seeing the aftermath of everything. And this is when I cried again because the kids all acknowledged that
I
they felt
knew.
Rich's presence when they were pushing that shard into the ground. They have a big group hug. Ugh, they killed me.
So emotional. I cried again here. And then the parents get reunited, and I just love
Yep.
that part where Charlotte was like, "Come here, babies," and hugs the 2 other girls. It's so sweet.
I know. Oh, and then poor Rose mourning her nephew. And then they really pile on the depression further because we're in the epilogue. We see Rich's funeral, Marge is speaking. I can't even talk about whatever she said, but it was beautiful
Mhm.
and it made me cry. And then we see Rich standing behind his parents with his hands on their shoulders. And Dick, who's watching from a distance, comes over and basically confirms to his parents, like, oh, yeah, that hand that you feel on your shoulders, your son's, he's always going to be with you. And I cried again.
Oh.
Like, there are just so many moments. Like, you know, all the kids are, mourning, they say goodbye. And then later on, Marge is walking through town and she sees that little paper airplane that Rich had made
Mhm.
earlier stuck in a tree. And she smiles through tears as she looks up at
I
it. And I
know,
cried
'cause
again.
his plane made it to town like he said it would.
Exactly. And then Lily visits her father's grave for the first time since he passed.
Yep.
So everyone's really going through their emotional catharsis. I cried throughout the
Yep.
whole thing. So after all these emotional beats, we see Marge and Lily talking about what Pennywise said about her future son and his friends being the ones to kill him. And this is where it's officially solidified that Pennywise's concept of time is non-linear, and Marge brings up the question, what if he can move backwards in time and kill more of their relatives before they themselves
Mm.
were even born? And Lily is really not comforting about this because she's just like, well, I guess that would be someone else's
She was like,
fight
"Well, it's not
then.
our problem. We did our job. They gotta do their job now. I've talked out. It's someone else's problem now."
She's literally like the sentiment of what I say to people at work all the time. I'm like, you can only do what you can do. That's what it was.
It's like, "That's someone else's problem now, girl. We're
Oh
done."
gosh. You know what? Fair. Fair. Meanwhile, we see that Hanlon and Charlotte are planning to leave Derry. Hanlon uses a cane now. While they're packing, Dick comes to visit, and this is where we get a tie-in to the Shining universe because he is heading out because he got a job at his friend's
Mhm.
hotel,
As a cook.
and he says, "How much trouble can a hotel be?"
"Ooh, honey, you got a big storm coming."
So they have a nice moment where, they hug it out and say their goodbyes. Meanwhile, Rose is a crazy person because she has decided to sell her house and leave because, the memory of being there without her nephew Daniel is too much. But, mm, Hanlon and Charlotte, why don't you just take over, and then you can protect Derry instead of me.
Girl, fair enough too. Like, she's been doing this for how long? And now her nephew's dead, and she doesn't wanna do it.
Totally fair she wants to leave, but why did she think that they
I
would
mean, she
want
just
it at
asked.
first? Fair enough. And at first, I was really proud of Hanlon and Charlotte because they were like,
Well,
no,
Charlotte seems unsure.
we're good.
Hamlin's
Thanks.
like, "No, we're good," but Charlotte's like, "Yeah, I guess." Because, Charlotte's a fighter.
She is, yes. But in the end, they decline for now. For now. And we see Will and Ronnie, who are sitting together and just talking about going their separate ways. And you know how when you leave Derry, you forget everything that happened. And I was just upset thinking that they're going to forget Rich. Okay, honestly. But so they finally get to have a nice little kiss together. So, I mean, it's a cute moment, but like, yeah, I would
Yeah,
have been fine without it.
I don't need to see children kissing, but,
And then,
it's for closure.
period. Exactly. And then as Charlotte, Hanlon, and Will are all in their car getting ready to leave Rose's house, they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe we should just stay.
Like I said, Charlotte's a fighter. She's here for justice. She wants to protect people.
Yep.
She has the fight in her to do this.
Nope, not me. And she's basically kind of brought Hanlon over to her side a bit now because Hanlon's lost faith in the military and he needs to find a new
Mhm.
path. So they're going down this new path together, which is lovely. Meanwhile, Ronnie and her dad, Hank, are dipping out of town. In fact, they're going to cross the border, I'm pretty sure.
What else can they do at this point?
Exactly. Gotta leave. Gotta get out of Dodge. So, as far as our main characters go, their stories are
Mhm.
wrapped up. Ronnie leaves. Will, Lily, and Marge all hang around in Derry. And then it seems like the end for a moment, with the title card coming on and showing us that this is the finale of Welcome to Derry, Part
Mhm.
1. So, officially confirmed, there will be more episodes to come. And based on the situation that was confirmed with time in this episode, definitely lends credence to it might be
Yeah,
prequel
I
seasons,
feel like
essentially.
they established that when, like, they had the talk between Marge and Lily, and it's like, "It's gonna be somebody else's fight. If he plans to go back to kill our parents, it's gonna be their fight then." So it seems like it's gonna be a prequel because the Black Spot
Yep.
fire was the last catalyst before he slept for 27 years, and then we get to the current It timeline where he fights the Losers Club. So it's only gonna go backwards from there to the other catalysts.
Yep. And just when we think it's over, we get a little stinger scene at the end. We see Ingrid, remember, who was carted off from the last episode after she went crazy. And she's now in the asylum. And that's where she
Mhm.
stays for a very long time. So it flashes forward to 26 years later. And she hears commotion going on somewhere in the asylum. So she goes to see what's going on. Now she's a little old lady, and you see her going through the halls, and she stumbles upon a scene where there's been a suicide. And this is when our franchises connect because there's a girl crying in this scene over, the person who's hanged themselves. And this young girl turns to Ingrid, and we see that it's young Beverly Marsh from the 2017
Mhm.
iteration. And Ingrid is the creepy old woman who tells her, oh, no one who dies in Derry ever really dies.
Yep.
And
And
that's
that's
it.
the end. End of season.
I gotta tell you, I couldn't have predicted any of the ways they were going to go with this show.
I wasn't trying to.
No, I gave up after episode 2, I think. I was like, okay, I'm just here for the ride. But yeah, I would say it was good
Yeah, I
overall. I
really enjoyed
enjoyed
it. I
it.
think they did a lot of great things artistically and then making it super unhinged because it has like a really distinct tone. And I think it matches the original 17 movies too, just because we have Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise bringing his normal mayhem and chaos.
It knew what it was, and it was very consistent throughout.
And it did such a good job of making us emotionally invested in the characters in only 8 episodes, which is hard to do.
With so many characters, too, which is really hard to do. And they kept the stakes high.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, you're worried about the adults being incorporated into this, but I think it was a good mash because we have both kinds of fear now. So it made the season really interesting with that dynamic. Because usually it's always the kids by themselves against Pennywise. This season we had the adults try to help, do the best they could.
Right, and then also find that sometimes they were
Mhm.
powerless in the situation, too.
And in
So,
the end, it was the kids who did all the work
it was
anyway.
good.
So
Mhm. The adults helped.
they
They
did
did
what
what
they
they
could.
could, but it was the kids in the end who saved the day. Yeah. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
I'm
I
gonna give
enjoyed
it a
it.
good 9. 9 out of 10. That's a really good show.
I look forward to season 2, which will
I
probably
know
get
it's
in
gonna
2
be a
years.
while, but I heard it's gonna be on Netflix now. They're moving it over to Netflix.
That's weird. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. If there's a change in like behind the scenes, like who's
Yeah.
running things and writing, you know?
So that was our recap of the season finale of Welcome to Derry. We will be back after the holidays for maybe more recaps of horror movies. If you have any suggestions on what you want us to recap and talk about next, let us know in the comments below. But we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.